The problems here are on the proof of cash and also on the bank reconciliation. So we begin with the first problem. So we have problem 3-1. So you have there the given items. So we have the cash in bank, and then we also have the bank statement for July. And then the requirement here is to prepare the bank reconciliation for 2 dates. We have June 30 and July 31, and also prepare the adjusting entries on July 31. So the given there is on the cash in bank, which is the per ledger. So pag maingon siya o cash in bank, that's the per ledger. And na ay bank statement for July. So we will begin with the first requirement, so the bank reconciliation for June 30. So we will start with the balance for June 30. So on the side of the books, so we will begin with 1 million. And then you have the credit memo. So, di ba, the book reconciling items include the credit memo and the debit memo. And for this problem, the credit memo is for the month of, you have their book debits for July, including June, credit memo for note collected, 300,000. So remember, if these are book debits, di ba? Pag book debits na siya, so this means that this is added to your cash in bank. Di ba? Pag mag-debit ang cash in bank, so ma-add mo increase atong cash in bank. But for the book debits, this is for July. July may nakabutang. But this includes the credit memo pertaining to June, which is 300,000. Okay? So therefore, this credit memo nga 300,000 will belong to the June balance. Kay sa June man to siya nga credit memo. So that's why ang gi-add diri kay only the 300,000. There are no other credit memos except that you have there sa bank statement nga side. Tanawan nyo sa bank statement sa July. Diba na may credit memo nakabutang bank credits including a credit memo. Okay? That's for a bank loan. But remember, that's for July. And we are preparing a bank recon for June 30. So, wala pa na siya ilabot. Okay? So, going back, so add the credit memo for June, kay June man nga bank recon atong gigama. Then, deduct the debit memos. So, the debit memos here, we have June NSF, which is 100, and June service charge. So again, kung asa siya nabilong nga bulan, adto po nimo siya ibutang. So kay na butang man na siya sa June nga NSF ug June po na service charge. So ang bank recon sa nato for June dapat makakita ta sa service charge ug sa NSF check. Now, your adjusted book balance is 1,196,000. Then, we proceed with the bank balance. So, the bank balance there is 1,650,000. And remember sa bank nga side, what are our reconciling items? So, we have the deposit in transit and we have the outstanding check. But remember, since we're talking about June adjusted balance, so dapat ang deposit in transit would relate to June and the outstanding check should also relate to June. So you look for the information there nga mo pertain siya sa June nga deposit in transit o June po nga outstanding check. So you look at the bank statement and the cash in bank. So you can find there that there's a June outstanding check of 854. So automatic mo na siya itong ibutang diri kaya that's for June month. And we have a deposit in transit for June nga 400. So automatic mo sa dato ibutang diri. And then, since wala may mga other items in consideration, so therefore, the adjusted bank balance is 1,196,000, which is the same with the adjusted book balance. So after we're done with that, we will proceed with the bank reconciliation for July. Okay, so the bank balance for July, I'm sorry, book balance for July. So you need to take note now how much is the balance that you're going to use sa book. If you have observed there, tanawin ninyo ang given, di ba wala may 1,400,000, di ba? May 1,400,000. So, giunsa man na siya, nga nung nahimo man na siyang 1,400,000. So, we can compute the balance for July by considering the information nga naa sa cash in bank nga side. So, since the balance for June is 1 million, so dili kani imong gamiton, dili ng 1,196,000. Gamiton nimo tong naagid sa ilahang records nga 1 million pesos. That's for the balance for June. I-add nimo ang 4 million nga book debits. Again, i-add mo ang 4 million nga book debits because those are representing the receipts. And then, i-minus nimo ang book credits because those are disbursements. So, 1 million plus 4 million minus 3,600,000, you will get 1,400,000. Okay? So, again, if you're going to get the book balance, you need to consider the receipts and the disbursements. So, you will look at the book debits and the book credits. So we now have our balance, 1,400,000. And remember the book reconciling items, we have the credit memo and the debit memo. Now, what is the credit memo for July? Since we're preparing the bank recon for July, tanawa diha, asa man ang credit memo nga para July. So, you have there a credit memo, bank credits for July, including a credit memo for bank loan. So, therefore, the 500,000 is a credit memo for July. Then we have the debit memo. So you look for NSF checks for July and bank service charge for July. And we can see there that there is a bank service charge of 1,000 for July. That's why we have the here 1,000 pesos. So we have the adjusted book balance of 1,899,000. And then now we proceed to the bank balance. So how do we get the bank balance? So I think you already have the idea, diba? How to get that. So the same process with the ganiha. Okay. However, let us consider the items nga ma-include. Okay. So you have, what would be the items that will be included to get the book balance? Okay. Sakto ba na siya? Okay. So we have here, balance for June is 1,650,000. Bank debits represent the disbursements. So, opposite sila, diba, sa book. Kaya pag i-debit sa bank, atong account, makuhaan man. Pag i-credit sa bank, ang ato ang account, madugangan. So, dili siya parehas ganiha nga ang debits gi-add niya, ang credits gi-minus. Kay bali man ni siya. So, 1,650,000 plus 3,500,000. That is the bank credits which represent the receipts, and then deduct the bank debits which represent the withdrawals. So that's minus 2,500,000. That's why you will get 2,650,000 nga balance. Now we will compute the deposit in transit. So how do we compute the deposit in transit for July? So you begin with the deposit in transit from the previous month. So the deposit in transit in the previous month is 400,000. You can find it here in the bank statement for July. Sa last item, di ba? Bank credits for July including CM for bank loan of 500,000 and June deposit in transit. So this is your deposit in transit beginning balance, or that's the June balance. Then you're going to get the deposits during July. So here we have 4 million. Okay, 4 million. So these are your book debits, or that those are your receipts. And then we have deduction of the 300,000. Sakto ba? 300,000 nga credit memo. Nga naman gididakan man na siya ma'am og 300,000. Remember, we want to know pila man ang deposit sa July. And 'di ba, ang nakabutang didto 4 million pero apil ang credit memo for June. So sakto ba nga ma-appeal sa July ang credit memo nga nabilong sa June? So dili. So that's why we need to deduct the 300,000 from the 4 million because di man sila parehas og bulan. Di ba? Di man sila parehas og months nga nabilong. This 300,000 is for June, while this 4 million is for the receipts in July. So wala siya na belong for July. So that's why you need to take it out. So that's why what is left is 3,700,000. Supposed to be mao ni tanan ang deposit nga padung pa sa bangko. However, you take note if there are items nga na-include na or na-record na ba ni bank. So asa man ta magtan-aw anita sa bank credits. Di ba ang credits sa bank kay meaning na ay deposit or na siya receipts. So ang na-recognize ni bank is 3,500,000. But tanan bang nga 3,500,000 nga gi-recognize ni bank represents mga deposits. Okay? Or mga deposit in transit. Remember, pag deposit in transit, wala pa siya naabot sa bank. And try to observe the items there sa 3,500,000 sa inyohang reference. Nga ang bank credits for July, naa siya credit memo nga 500,000 for a bank loan and na ay June deposit in transit of 400,000. Okay, so the first one is the credit memo for a bank loan. So ang primary question ani is this a deposit in transit? Remember the definition of a deposit in transit? Padulong pa siya sa bank. And this one is dili padulong sa bank. In fact, it's already in the bank. Okay? And we're trying to find out pila man tong wala pa naabot sa bank. So it's not proper nga i-appeal ni nato siya sa deposit in transit because in fact, it's not a deposit nga nagpadung pa. It's already there. Nasa bangko. So you need to take it out. Okay? So that's why you need to deduct the 500,000. Then, you no longer need to take out the 400,000 kanibitang June deposit in transit kaya na-consider na siya diri. Okay? Ayun na ninyo na siya i-minus kaya na-consider na diri. So, you have 3 million and then deduct that from the 4,100,000. So, you will get 1,100,000 and that's the amount we're going to place in the deposit in transit. Next is the outstanding check. So how do we compute the outstanding check? So we'll start with a balance as of June. So that's 854,000 based on the given. Diha sa bank statement for July, bank debits. Next is we determine what are those checks nga gi-recognize ni company or iyang gisuwat pambayad og utang. So, asa man ta magtan-aw, ato ta magtan-aw sa book credits, kay di ba mga disbursement man na siya. Ang mga checking nga gisuwat nila pambayad og utang or pambayad og mga bayronon is 3,600,000. Pero dili tanan ana mga checking gibayaran. Kaya remember, outstanding checks are those we have issued in payment for something or payment to someone or payment for an expense, whatever. Basta kay mga bayad na pinaagi sa cheque. So, if you take note there, ang 3,600,000 nag-include siya og NSF og service charge. So, we need to take out both. Ngano ang duha man, ma'am? Di ba, cheque man kaha, ma'am? Yang NSF check kay cheque man siya. So, remember ha, ang outstanding check, kita ang naibayron nun. Kita ang naibayron nun, kita ang naay gi-issue nga cheque. So, kita ang nagbayad, kita may nangutang. Ngana. NSF check is a check, di ba, nga ni talbog or walay sulod. Pero kang kinsa man ang cheque, ato ba na siya, kita ba'y nagbayad, kita ba'y nangutang ana, dili. Ang nihatag na to ana is ang customer. Ni ang customer, pagbayad niya na to, atong gi-deposit na sa bangko. Okay, para maato na ang money. Pero, pag clearing ni bank, pag check ni bank, dito sa account ni customer, ni turn out nga, wala di siya'y sulod. Or, kulang ang sulod. Kaya no sufficient fund man na siya. So, therefore, based on that explanation na to is, dili kita may nagbayad, dili kita yung nag-issue sa check. So, that's why, dili na to i-appeal sa outstanding, di ba? Kay dili man kitang utangan, ang customer ang utangan nato. Okay? So dili siya pwede nimo i-appeal sa outstanding check kay di man na siya appeal sa tumbayron nun. Next one is ang service charge. Nganong wala man nganong i-minus man na siya. So i-minus na siya kay pinaka-reason na is dili na siya cheque nga gibayaran nato. Although natay bayron nun, pero wala ta mag-issue og cheque ana. No need to issue check in fact. Nga naman, because the bank already deducted our account. Di ba? Pag magama tag cheque kay nagpasugo man ta sa bangko nga palihog kog bayad ani gamit ang akong money diha sa bangko nga naman ang cheque palihog kog bayad ni Procopio i-deduct sa ako ang balance nga na ng cheque. Pero, kay gi-minus naman na ni bank sa ato ang balance ito sa bangko, it's no longer outstanding. It's already paid. We already paid for that. Kay gi-minus naman ni bank sa ato ang account. So, that's why, dili nato na siya i-appeal sa check. Kaya di man dyan na siya check. Okay? So, ano siya? 3,600,000 minus 104. So, you have 3,496,000. Next is, di ba, mauna tanan ang mga outstanding. So, silbing nag-issue na siya cheque, pero wala pa siya naabot sa bangko. Ang sunod na po natong tanawon is, tinuod ba nga ang tibok 4,350,000 kay wala pa gina siya na naabot sa bank or wala pa gina niya na clear. So, tanaw na to kung unsa tong mga withdrawal nga na-recognize ni bank. So, ang withdrawal nga na-recognize ni bank kay kaning 2,500,000. Now, balik ta sa katong dapat natong i-consider. Remember, ang 2,500,000 kay na ay service charge of 1,000 ug na outstanding check nga 854. So, balik ta itong explanation ganiya. Ang service charge ba, outstanding check, so ang tubag ana kay dili. Dili naman na siya outstanding. Kay in fact, dala na siya sa bangko, gi-minus na bayan na sa bangko, sa atong account. So, it's not part of the checks. Okay? So, therefore, ato na siyang i-take out. Tangtangon na to na siya. Okay? So, that's why there is a deduction. So, maura na siyang ato ang i-consider for that case. So, you have asa naman to siya? Okay, so you have 1,000 i-deduct from 2,500,000, so 2,499, and then you will get outstanding check of 1,851,000. And now we can solve the adjusted bank balance. So you will get 1,899,000. Next is the adjusting entries. So, asa naman ko mag-adjust og entries, ma'am? Asa man nga side? Sa bank ba nga side or sa book nga side? Remember that we are recording in behalf of the entity we're working for. So, kung accountant ta sa kumpanya, so dapat ang recording nato kay para sa company. And therefore, asa man ta nga side? Sa cash in bank ba ta nga side or sa bank statement mga side? So, adto ta sa cash in bank nga side. Kaya kita may nag-maintain na ana. Ang bank statement manggod, ginama na sa bangko. So, ilahan na siyang recordings. So, dili na tamang hilabot sa ilahang records dito. Ang ato lang i-correct or atong i-adjust here is ang ato ang kaugalingong books. So, therefore, ang ato ang i-appear sa ato ang adjusting entries kay katong mga book reconciling items. So, unsa to mga book reconciling items? So, they have the credit memo for July and the service charge for July. So, that's why you have cash in bank, bank loan payable, depende kung sa man ang appropriate title according sa problem. So, that's 500,000. And then, you have the bank service charge, and credit cash in bank 1,000. So maura. Again, dili na ta manghilabot aning sa bank nga side kay dili man kita nag-maintain silang books. So we only adjust for those items that will affect our books. Okay? Now let's proceed with 3-2. So you have Beehive Company and you have the balances there on October 31, November 30, and prepare the adjusting entries. So for October 31, you have the balance per book of 600,000. And then you check if there are credit memos. So you have collection from customer. This is an error. Disbursements per book. You have check payment. Then deposit in transit, outstanding check, bank receipts, erroneous credit. Then you have check of B-line. So, wala siya yung mga debit or credit memos na involved. So, that's why ang book balance there is 600,000. Next is, again na punta sa bank. So, balance per bank statement is pila man. Okay, so, ang given ra diha kay 930,000. So that's the per bank. Okay? So you need to determine pila man ang October nga balance. Okay? So how do we prepare or how do we compute the book balance here? So you have the not book balance, bank balance here. So you have na ba siya given? So ingon man siya nga bank the balance per bank is 930, but that's for November. Dili man siya katong sa October. So how do we compute that one? So we need to work back. Okay, so how do we work back? So you start with the balance per bank on November 30. Okay, 930. And you work back, you go up. So, i-add nimo ang bank disbursements. So, again, i-add nimo ang bank disbursements for November. That's 1,970,000. And deduct the bank receipts for November, 2,500,000. So, nga na siya. So, pasaka. So, you will get 400,000. Next is add the deposit in transit for October 31. So, deposit in transit for October 31. You need to check na to. Okay, so given man siya, so you have 300,000. And then, deduct the outstanding check for October 31. So, given ba siya na by outstanding check for October 31? So, kanis siya i-work back. So, we will begin with the outstanding check for November. And the same process sa ako ang explain earlier, di ba? On the outstanding checks. So, here, i-fill in lang nimo tong mga data para ma-work back ni siya pasaka siya. So, kung gideduct ni siya, so yung mga i-add, o niya, kagi-add man siya diri, so ang pag-work back, i-deduct. So, again, checks issued by the depositor is 1,800,000, but again, not everything outstanding check. And take note here that the check for 300,000 was recorded as 30. So, meaning, understated ang ato ang disbursement. Kulang siya by 270 kay 30,000 na iyang na-record pero ang dapat kay 300,000. Then the checks paid by the bank is 1,970,000. And then there's a check of 200,000 of B-Line. Dili siya Susan. B-Line company for 200,000. So nganong gididak man siya kay dili man na siya cheque nga gi-release ni Beehive, but that's for Beeline. So you have 200,000, so i-deduct siya. So you have 1,770,000, and again you work back, so you will get 100,000 here. So that's why you have 100,000, and adjusted bank balance is 600. So 600,000. So next is we have 1 million. That's our book balance. So how do we get 1 million? So same process ganiha. So balance per book October 31, 600,000 plus the receipts per book for November, 2,200,000, and deduct the disbursements per book for November nga 1,800,000. So you will get 1 million. And then, since nag-agita sa book, so you take note if there are any necessary adjustments. So you have understatement of collection from customer, that's 90,000. So asa man na siya na to makita? You have the receipts per book, that's 100,000 but was recorded as 90 only. 10,000 only. So kulang og 90. So i-add nimo siya. Okay, kay nakulangan ang money. And then you have the check disbursement. So katong ganiha, so you have 270 kay nakulangan. Okay, so i-deduct nimo na siya. So the adjusted book balance is 820,000. Next is the bank balance. So bank balance, you have balance is 930. Okay, that's the beginning. So given na siya. And then deposit in transit. Okay, so deposit in transit, you have 190. Okay, so asagi ka ng 190. So you have deposit in transit. So computon pa na siya. So here you have, we'll start with the 300,000, and then you have the book receipts of 2,200,000, and then you add the understatement of collection 2,290. Then you have the bank receipts of 2,500,000 and deduct 100,000, which is again, this is B-line ni siya. Naabot mo siya Susan. So 2,500,000 minus 100, you have 2,400,000. And then follow the operation. So 300 plus 2,290 minus 240, you will get 190,000. So fill in 190, and then you adjust for the check of B-line charge in error. So that's 200,000. I-add na siya. And then outstanding checks is 400,000. So that's given. And then deposit of B-line, not Susan, that's 100,000. So total deduction is 500,000. So you will get 820,000. Again, in preparing the adjusting entries, you're only going to consider the book reconciling items. And here we have only two book reconciling items. You have the understatement of collection. So add cash in bank, credit accounts receivable. And then we have the understatement of disbursement. So you have cash in bank, kuhaan mo siya, 270, and then you have the accounts payable, 270. If you like this video, don't forget to click like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be updated with the latest video lessons. Thank you for watching.